Hello, everyone. This is Tyler Lukenoff. I'm the assistant principal and the activities director at Atchison Middle School. I'm creating a small video to walk you through what we are calling our virtual parent meeting. As some of you may know, in years past, we've met in person for these parent meetings, but in an effort to minimize the amount of people coming into the middle school, we are going to turn this meeting into a virtual meeting that will be sent out to all of you. Today with this presentation, I'm going to quickly give you some general information about how to have your student be involved in athletics and what the expectations are for our new athletic seasons of girls basketball, wrestling, and winter cheer. So as I begin this, I want to draw your attention to CASHA Sportsmanship Rule 52. This is given to us by the Kansas State High School Activities Association. And in Rule 52, it talks about sportsmanship. And these are the things that we're going to hold ourselves accountable to as a middle school and what we are going to expect that our coaches, our players, our parents, our fans, our officials, everyone is abiding by these at all times. So you can see, be courteous to all, know and abide by the rules and respect the official's decision, win with character and lose with dignity, display appreciation for good performance regardless of which side of the team that you are on, exercise self-control, and permit only positive sportsmanlike behavior, because we always want to have a great reflection on Atchison Middle School and its activities. So we will hold ourselves accountable to that. We ask that you do the same. On to some of the things that you will be required to do in order to be able to participate is you will have to fill out the required forms that you see listed in the first bullet. The way that you do this is we are an mostly online platform to be able to fill these things out: your handbook signature, concussion form, eligibility form, your medical consent, and the code of conduct. Those can all be found at the link that you see in the second bullet. And I will show you how to access that from our activities website. All of these will have to be filled out and submitted in order for your student to participate. The second thing that they will be required to bring in or required to have done is a yearly physical. This will have to be turned into the school office, and it will have to be signed off by a physician stating that you are cleared for physical activity. You are able to do this through your primary care provider or any physician in town that you are able to schedule this physical through. Students will not be allowed to participate in practice or games until the required forms are turned in and the physical is turned in as well. Now, a third thing that may apply to you, depending on if you are a seventh grader or a new eighth grader or someone who has not played a sport yet in the 2021 school year, is an impact test. Impact testing is done in an effort to minimize the risks that come along with reinstituting people back into athletics who have sustained a concussion. So if a student was ever to sustain a concussion in an athletics or activities event, this impact test would be used to make sure that they are able to make it back to their baseline. It is a 30-minute computer-delivered test that we can schedule through the school to be able to make sure that your student needs that. Another ongoing part of being an athlete at Atchison Middle School is to be able to stay academically eligible. Okay. The one thing that I want to draw your attention to is the second bullet. If at any time a student has 2 failing grades on the needs improvement list, which is a list that we run on Mondays every week to be able to see failing grades at the middle school. If an athlete on any sports team, cheer, girls basketball, wrestling, if you have 2 failing grades in any 2 classes, you will be given what we call a 1-week probationary period to improve your grade to passing. During this 1-week probationary period, you can still practice and play in games and keep your standing with the team. However, if a student appears on the needs improvement list the following week on Monday when it is run, then at that point, if they still have those two Fs in those same classes, then they will be ineligible until their grades are above the 2F threshold. So they would have to improve one or both of those Fs to be able to participate. Now, participation means in that instance, they can still practice with the team. However, there will be no competitions or games that they will be able to participate in until their grades meet that threshold. One other part that I put in here is if I have a student athlete that has repeated weeks on the needs improvement list and they are over and over again ineligible, then what we will do at that time is we will look to dismiss them from the team to focus on their academics. I want to take a quick moment to direct you to our athletics and activities website, which is atchisonms.ourschoolteams.com. At this website, you can access lots of different things. So I want to be able to show you this now. Okay, so this is the setup for Atchison Middle School, and there's a lot of different things that you can use during your time on this website to be able to help you navigate our athletics and activities. The first thing that I would draw your attention to is the online required forms. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, you are required to turn these in prior to participation. These can be found here. This is a direct link to our website, and it will take you here. And then we will go to athletic team registration. And from that point, you will either log back in as a returning user or create a new account. And at that point, register your students to fill out the forms. Another really important thing that could be beneficial to you is if you have not located a CASHA physical form from the office, you are able to print one off directly from our website. It will take you to the PDF where you can fill out your information and then have the doctor or physician sign off as well. As we get back to our athletics and activities website, one other thing or a couple of other things that may be beneficial to you is you can see our USD 409 activities handbook that you can see so you know what you're signing off on our online forms. And then probably the thing that you will use the most is going to be our calendar. So if we click calendar, it's going to open up a new window and it's going to give you from today a week's worth of activities moving forward. So at this time, we're still in October, so we're still finishing up football and volleyball. So you can see that we have games heading up this week. If you're wanting to look for specific schedules, over on the right-hand side, you'll see view schedules. And it's going to give you a drop down of all the athletics that we have here at Atchison Middle School. And you can click. So, for instance, if I wanted to know when the 7th grade and 8th grade girls will be playing, I will click on those two and click view. And it's going to give me a printout of what their schedule is. So, this can be used in a lot of different ways. You'll see the date. You'll see the grade level. You'll see the time, who we are playing, and then the location of that game. Always in the comments here, what we will do is we will have who is playing that evening. So it is our hope that our girls basketball team will have an A and a B team for both 7th and 8th grade. So we will play them in the order that they are listed. So anytime we have a home game, we will play the 8th grade or the 7th grade or 8th grade A game first, and then we will follow that with the B game. You can see when we play other places, such as down here at Clark Middle School, they will play the B game first and the A game second. So it really just depends. One thing I do want to bring to your attention as I go back to the beginning of our website is that our schedules, especially this year, will be changing very rapidly. We are still adding games to our schedules to give our students as many opportunities as they can to participate. That means that there will be quite a few changes that continue to happen. I would caution you from printing off a schedule and maybe simply look to bookmark this website so you are able to see the changes that are happening. I can tell you confidently that for girls basketball, there will be more games added. And so this is not the finalized schedule. However, anytime that we make a change on a schedule, we will be alerting our coaches that will then alert you with the changes that will take place. Finally, there's one other thing I do want to mention to you that definitely has changed based on the times that we are currently in. Obviously, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused some changes in the way that we do things and the way that we operate, which is why I'm making this video, but also with the way that we view our sporting events. So I have included here our spectator guidelines for COVID-19. So these are strictly for Atchison Middle School. These are strictly for Atchison Middle School and do not apply to any of the other places that Atchison Middle School will play. So the way we will do things is each student, each athlete and coach will receive 2 tickets, and really they are vouchers per home game will be given to your athlete. Okay. Tickets will be given to them 1 to 2 days prior to the contest. Okay. In order to get into the game, you have to have one of these tickets. Okay. There will be some information that you'll need to fill out. And when you arrive, you can hand the admissions people, the admissions workers, your ticket, excuse me. And then from that point, there will be a few other things that have to happen. One, you will have to pay an admission fee. Adults will be $2. Students will be $1. Anyone that's not an adult will be $1. You will have to wear a mask at all times inside USD 409 facilities. Otherwise, you will be asked to leave. So it is really important that we do have a mask on, wearing it appropriately, and wearing it the entire time that we are in the building. The second thing that will happen is you have to be temperature checked upon arrival. Any person temping over 100 degrees will be asked to not attend and please to leave the facility. And then it is an expectation that once we are in the stands that we physically distance from one another in the stands within our family groups. At Atchison Middle School, we have our bleachers marked off as to where we want people to sit, and there is signage to make that happen. Now, the confusing part for a lot of people is that away contests, when we play away from Atchison Middle School, it will be dependent on individual schools and their guidelines. I will tell you this, my experience thus far is that wearing a mask is pretty well a requirement across the state and across the different teams and schools we play. There may or may not be instances where fans can attend at all. There may be instances where some fans can attend, and there may be instances when there is no limit on how many fans can attend. That information will be pushed out to you as soon as we have it to be able to help you better plan for attending and seeing your students play. One thing that Atchison Middle School will continue to do, we have done in the fall and will continue to do, is that we will live stream any and all home games on our Atchison Middle School Facebook page. So if you, for some reason, are unable to attend, or when you are splitting up your tickets, things don't quite work out, we will be live streaming those events to be able to give as many people access to watching the game as we possibly can. So just a quick summary of everything that I've talked about. Um, all of your forms must be completed online, and you can do that through the link earlier in the video or through our athletics website. Physical must be turned into the office. You have to have an impact baseline test. It has to be completed. You obviously have to be academically eligible and in good standing. And then the final thing that I want to review with you is that athletic fees will need to be paid prior to the first day of competition. Those fees are $30 per sport with a maximum of 2 fees. So if your son or daughter, let's say your son has played football already this year and has paid their $30, then if they decide to wrestle, then they will pay another $30 for that. After that time period, if they decide to do boys basketball or they decide to do track, they will not have to pay any fees based on the fact that it is a maximum of 2 fees. So keep that in mind. And lastly, I just want you to know who your coaches will be. For girls basketball, our head girls basketball coach will be Nick Rebant. Nick works down at the Atchison Recreation Commission. He's also a football coach for us, and he'll be taking over our girls basketball program this year, and we're extremely excited to have him. Assisting him will be Mr. Andrew Purdy and Miss Libby Denton. Both have coaching experience here at the middle school in a lot of different sports. So they will bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to our girls basketball program. In our wrestling program, our head wrestling coach is Ed Krause, who is a teacher at the high school, and he will be assisted by Nick Stillwell, who is also a teacher and coach at the high school. Ed and Nick have run our wrestling program for several years now and have an extreme amount of experience. They also happen to be the head and assistant wrestling coach at the high school level, so it is a great situation for us to be able to provide our wrestlers with who will be their high school coaches. And then finally, winter cheer is going to be coached by Miss Christy Sumter, who is the AMS art teacher. She has taken that over in the fall, and she will continue to do that into the winter season. So one thing that you can be looking forward to in the next few days is I will be sending out individual videos from Nick Rebant, from Ed Krause, and from Christy Sumter that are going to talk directly to cheerleaders, wrestling, and then girls basketball. So you can have some specific questions if you need those answered, and they will be sport specific. So I thank you very much for watching our video and gathering this information. If we can be of any assistance to you at all, please make sure that you contact the AMS office at 913-367-5363, and we would be more than happy to help you walk through any things that you're having trouble with so we can get our students involved in athletics. Thank you so much.